All right, y'all. Welcome back to the podcast. This is day number 44. Actually, an off day, and I've got some thoughts, and I want to share some things with you. Not on trail. I have actually propped up in the van, and Stephanie and I have been enjoying an off day. It started off at breakfast this morning at a place called Sugar and Spice, where we both had an amazing breakfast. I had lots of coffee, and then our day proceeded from there. But I've got four titles for this episode: Sugar and Spice, because I wanted to tell you about that breakfast place; Meltdown, Speed Goats, and a new backpack. So I have a confession to make about the meltdown that I had. That's what I'm calling it now. The meltdown that I had on day number 38 with Lucky Dime. And it was actually I just had a true meltdown on trail. And it's been several days now, and I've been able to, do more and more and more reflection. And when I first had the meltdown and got off trail, I was like, well, there's no need to ever hike in New Hampshire and Maine again. And, I've started this southbound trek in Vermont, which I'm very happy with. I'm not changing any of that. But the confession I have is that you all know, and I know, and I told Stephanie this morning, there is no way on this earth I am going to leave those 282 miles that I still have to do to complete the trail for a second time, just dangling out there. And I mean, that's just the true reality of the situation. There's just no way I'm going to leave those hanging out there and let that defeat me. That is not going to be the case. But what I have learned, and I've been going over some things over and over in my brain, since day 38, not really talking about it, but just kind of mulling over it. First of all, Maine and New Hampshire on the Appalachian Trail are very, very hard, but they're doable. And what I mean by that is when you have the mental capacity to understand and know that they are hard, and you got to go your own pace, and you got to do what it takes on your end to make that happen. They are very doable. And I think one of the things that happened when I finished the whites, I was wiped out. When I finished New Hampshire, when I went that last day out to US Route 2, and after I got done with that, I even walked the road walk from US Route 2 to the start of the Mahoosics, and only took one day off in between. That was a major mistake. So that was a mistake. I probably could have taken 4 or 5 days off to rest my body, rest my mind, re-eat, as much as possible, get fuel in my body. And for some reason, I just decided, well, I only need a day off, and here I go into the Mahoosics. And I think I forget that the only person putting pressure on me to get any of this done is me. And at the beginning of the summer, I was like 545 miles to Katahdin. Here we go. And counting everything down. And the only person that put that pressure on me for 545 miles to get done this summer was me. And that was a mistake, because you can't put pressure on yourself when you're out here hiking. And section hiking is so, so hard, because, I mean, I basically left the job, and then 3 days later I was hiking. It's not like the job goes away out of your mind and you can let all that go. For those of you that section hike and you only have 2 or 3 days off, or you only have a week off, you've only got a certain amount of time to get things done. And I met a guy out on trail this summer who's section hiking, and he got a leave of absence from work for a month, and he wanted to finish this summer. And he's like, it's just not feasible for me to get this done in a month. And I think one of the things we do as section hikers is we put limitations on ourselves, meaning, oh, I got to get this done. I need to get these 100 miles done in these 10 days, or I need to get, I only have 5 days off work and I need to do, 20 milers to get this section done. And I've done all that. I mean, feel like I've been putting pressure on myself for many years. That's not necessary. And in 2017, I thought I was never going to, be out on the trail again. But now to have the opportunity to be out here again every summer for 20 years is just what I do. I honestly cannot imagine doing really anything else. It's just who I am. It's what I do. But as I get older and, as things progress, I've got to take that pressure off myself. So there's some things I got to work on over these next 10 months, once I get back to work. Taking the pressure off myself, being kinder to myself mentally. I mean, physically, I could get up and over the boulders. That's not a problem. I did it all throughout the Whites. So I don't know what happened to me when I got to the Mahoosucs and all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I mean, I just broke down and I just couldn't get out of there fast enough. And I think everything just, came caving down on me. And, we all have that happen to us in various aspects of our life. So I'm going to continue over these next 10 months to get stronger and, build up more and take the pressure off myself of, oh, this has to get done. This is, my 20 summers on the trail. And okay, if it gets done in summer 21, fine. I'm not putting that pressure on myself because I know if I take that pressure off, I can get it done. I mean, I've done it before and I don't even know what's happened to me where, I don't know, maybe I've blocked certain parts of the trail out because they are tough. So I've made some notes here. Take the pressure off myself, take some days off, put no time limit on myself to finish. And, the bottom line is I was talking to Steffi and asking her, her thought process on this. And I mean, basically it was just not my time to finish. And I'm sitting here and I've still got, a good amount of days to go hiking and I'm going to, but I'm not going to push myself. I'm not going to go back up to Maine and, just put myself into something that mentally I'm not prepped for. Hopefully all of this is making sense. The one thing that makes sense to me out of all of this is I am not done with the Appalachian Trail. Lucky Dime is probably laughing right now if she's listening to this because I was like, I'm done with the AT. I'm done with the podcast. I mean, I was done with everything that day. I was even scaring myself of everything that I was done with. And the reality of it is that's not the case. I 100% love the Appalachian Trail and I'm not going to let it defeat me. So a trail is not going to defeat me. It is going to make me stronger. I feel I've educated myself. I've learned from the trail again. It's like every summer I go out and I'm just totally educated by Mother Nature and what it has to offer me. And there's no way I'm going to say no to that. As I'm staring out the back of the van, into the woods at our campground, there's no way I could just look at the woods and say, I'm never coming back. That's just not going to be the case. So anyway, wanted to get that off my chest. I am not done with the Appalachian Trail. I might be done with Maine for the summer, but we are not done. And I've got to work on taking pressure off myself. When I'm out here, take more days off. I think the reason I don't take more days off is because I feel like I just need to utilize every second, that I'm out here and, don't waste any time. But that's not a good philosophy. And not put a time limit on myself to finish. And I think if I can accomplish those things and continue to keep myself in shape, then we will have some positive success next summer. So just wanted to get all that off my chest. And I am positive the majority of you are not even surprised about me saying this. So, all right, I told y'all about Sugar and Spice, told y'all about the meltdown. The next thing is I want to talk about my shoes, my trail runners I've been wearing by Topo Pursuits. I am actually totally disappointed in those shoes. I put a brand new pair on in the whites. And by the time I got through the whites, which was 91, 92 miles, they're totally wrecked. Like the toe caps are covered off, they're peeled back, and then the part of the shoe that is up by your heel is like totally broken down. The fabric is pulled apart. You could literally see the inside of the shoe. And then, so I had another pair, so brand new pair, and I think I've only put 50 miles or so on those, and they are already breaking down as well. It's one thing to wear a pair of trail runners at your local nature preserve, and it's another thing, to wear them out here at the most rugged terrain on the East Coast. I understand that, but you should be able to get more than 91 miles and then 51 miles out of a pair. And it's almost like the cushion is just like totally gone. So I had no intention whatsoever of buying some new shoes today. But as we were driving in the van after breakfast, Stephanie noticed a place out front. It said New Balance, Keen, all these shoes. And the shoe store is named Sensible Shoe. And I thought, well, I'll just run in here real quick and, see what they got. And went in there and had the greatest customer service one could ever have. And I've worn the Speed Goats in the past. In fact, in 2013, the summer of 2014, I think they were the original Speed Goats, like all summer. So I was over looking at the Speed Goats. And of course, what do I end up doing? I end up trying them on. And then I ended up trying on a pair of, I think, Cliftons. They're like the road version of the Speed Goat. So I'm walking around the store and the Speed Goats are like, I've had them on my whole life. And they've got the Vibram bottom to them. So guess what? Ended up walking out of the shoe store with a pair of Speed Goats and a pair of Cliftons, which I'm very happy with. And I'm looking forward to trying my Speed Goats when I go up and over Killington again. So if you are ever in Rutland, Vermont, you need to go to the Sensible, Sensible shoe, and you will receive, believe me when I say, excellent customer service. They sell the Ultras, they sell Hokas, they sell Brooks, New Balance. I mean, on and on, the shoes that they had. I can't remember every brand. But regardless, if you're in the area, if you're coming off the trail, it's not that far from Killington. You can probably get a hitch down to the Sensible Shoe and ask for Blair, and he will take care of you. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was my backpack the other day on the show. I just did like a gear rundown, and the next piece of gear I want to add to that list. So I had on the gear checklist a headlamp, a sleeping pad, a water filter, a tent, a new fanny pack, and I'm going to add to that list a new backpack. I don't know what's happened. For some reason, that circuit, the ULA circuit, no longer feels good on my body. It is almost like it doesn't fit. It's awkward. So over the next year, I will also be looking for a new backpack, not replacing my ULA Photod that I carry every day, but an actual new backpack. And there's some new options out there, some new innovations. So yeah, that'll give me something to investigate as well. Well, I have rambled on enough. I didn't want this episode to be long, but it seems I've probably gone on, who knows, 15 or 20 minutes. So this is day number 44, no hiking, day off, shopping, new shoes, relaxing, and confessing that there is no way on this earth I am done working on my second section hike. But for now, as we wind out the summer and continue on these last few weeks, we are going to continue heading south in Vermont, and I am good with that. And until I'm back on trail, which I think is going to be tomorrow, thanks for listening. Be safe out there and happy section hiking.